You're watching ESPN's Holiday Hoops, presented by Kay Jewelers.
And on this next to last shopping day before Christmas, we are at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut for a holiday matinee between the Central Connecticut Blue Devils and the UConn Huskies. Before taking over at his alma mater, Central Connecticut coach Howie Dickerman spent 14 years as an assistant at UConn. He was the one who recruited Kevin Ollie, who has already coached the Huskies to a national championship. Today will be the pupil versus the mentor. Hi, everyone. Bob Picozzi, along with two-time ACC Coach of the Year, Seth Greenberg. And Seth, Kevin Ollie came to UConn from Los Angeles, and so is UConn's best current player, Daniel Hamilton.
Hamilton, the last year's American Conference Rookie of the Year at 6'7". He's a hybrid forward. He can rebound the ball at a high level. He can push it in transition. He can score it, and he's one of the best passing small forwards in college basketball.
Kevin Ollie without his best shot blocker today. Amita Brima broke a finger in practice on Monday, out 6 to 8 weeks. We'll have more on that as we move along in the broadcast. Throwing the ball up, Isaac Barnett. He's working the game with John Gaffney and Brian O'Connell. And Central Connecticut and UConn are underway for the 14th time in their history. This is Hamilton. Both teams in a rare quirk played UMass Lowell in their last game. Each getting the win. This is Miller inside, creating some space, but he'll be called for the travel.
And Miller's an extremely athletic power forward, quick off the bounce, transfer from Cornell. He's what I call a done-in-one, which means he graduated already, and now he's a graduate student at UConn. As
is UConn's point guard, Sterling Gibbs, number 4. Same story, graduated last year from Seton Hall. There's Gibbs, guarding the band with the ball, Austin Nels. Central lost its first 8 before winning Friday night over UMass Lowell, and a traveling violation called on Kevin Seymour. There's Howie Dickerman in his 20th year at his alma mater, second winningest coach in school history, second only to his mentor, his college coach, the late Bill Dietrich.
I call him a coaching lifer. Close to 70 years old, has the same passion he had when he was an assistant at UConn.
And one of the most popular men in the coaching fraternity. This is Purvis. He's the Huskies' leading scorer. Cross-court Gibbs, cross-court, and it is stolen. This is Seymour 1-on-2. Got it up and over Hamilton, but missed the layup. Here's a 3-on-1 the other way, and Gibbs with the finish.
Connecticut's at their best when they're in transition. Terrific job of converting back, and I look for them to attack defensively, try to create some easy offense.
And they attack right there. Hamilton with the steal, but his cross-court pass was stolen. This is Nels. He's their best outside shooter, and Hamilton looked like he got a piece of that shot. Miller is down on the floor and injured for UConn. He's yet to get up under the Central basket. Philip Nolan getting the start because of the Brima injury, called for the travel. And there's a look at Miller, who is most uncomfortable. Let's get a look, Seth.
Miller gets caught on Austin Nell's elbow, but Miller is a really hard-playing guy. I think right now a little shook up. Interesting to see if they will take him out and try to evaluate him early.
Miller, a two-time first-team All-Ivy League player at Cornell. In the Ivy League, they don't let you play a 5th year, so if he wanted to use his final year of eligibility, he had no choice but to go to somewhere else.
A good portion of Cornell's basketball team is playing somewhere else because of that role.
Inside Evan Phoenix, who had the night of nights on Friday against UMass Lowell. He scored career-high 28 points. He's double-teamed, shot clock at 1, and there's a shot clock violation.
And that's what Kevin Ollie's looking for. He's looking for defensive intensity, the ability to pressure the basketball and overwhelm Central with their athleticism.
Kevin Ollie told us, look, we have to get out of the gates faster. They have had some slow starts, and they fell way behind Maryland, made a deep run at the Terps late in the game, came up short. There was a controversial call and a technical foul at the end of the game. But he said, we can't keep climbing into these big holes and expect to win against good teams. We have to break that habit.
He's made a seamless transition to coaching. Terrific communicator. These kids play for him.
Well, Sean Miller looked like he was having trouble seeing through that one eye. It didn't affect him on that shot.
He likes to catch it tight. He can finish.
This is Seymour, the point guard for the Bronx. Cumberlander on the drive. He'll be called for the first foul of the afternoon. That's a charge.
Terrific weak side defense. Good pressure on the ball. Connecticut keeping the ball sidelined. You build a wall against the basketball. Great rotation there by Sean Miller.
Chatting briefly with John Gaffney before the game, he actually told us he finds the game is easier to officiate this year because he said there's less gray matter with all the new rules. You agree?
I think the game has had a better flow. I think the coaches and the players and the officials have all adjusted. The game has a much better rhythm to it right now.
Good work by Nolan off the offensive board. Keeps the possession alive after the Hamilton miss. Gibbs being guarded by the taller Peel. Low block Nolan. He's not much of an offensive threat, but he hit it with the left that time.
Nolan catching the ball deep. And here's a kid that Nolan, he started 30 games for this Connecticut basketball program. He understands his role and plays to his strengths.
Now, Brima missed Sunday's game against UMass Lowell because of a testicular bruise. So Kevin Ollie went small that day. He started freshman Jalen Adams and went with a 3-guard lineup. But today, instead, he's going bigger with Nolan getting the start. We'll get a held ball, and on the possession arrow will stay at this end, but only 8 to shoot for the Blue Devils.
And I like that smaller lineup for Connecticut. I think they play faster. They attack you in transition. Look for Connecticut to trap the ball in the corner if it's entered in the corner here.
Inside Phoenix. Up and over Nolan. UConn did not defend that inbound baseline pass very well.
Simple screen to screener. Great job of waiting for the screen. Phoenix is a really interesting prospect at 6'8". Very good passer with skill.
Hamilton kick out Gibbs for 3. Rebound pulled down to the lane by Cumberlander. He's the Blue Devils' leading scorer. One-on-one with Gibbs.
It's really important for Central to take care of the basketball, get quality possessions, and make Connecticut defend. Shorten this game a little bit.
Shot fake. Nels kick out, but we will get a blocking foul on UConn. It will be on Nolan, number 1 on him. Our first timeout of the afternoon. UConn with an early 4-point lead. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. It's an early 4-point UConn lead over Central Connecticut. Welcome back to the XL Center in Hartford. I'm Bob Picozzi, along with Long Beach State University Athletic Hall of Famer Seth Greenberg. No Amita Brima. He broke this finger on his right hand in practice on Monday for UConn. Out 6 to 8 weeks. How much is that going to hurt the Huskies?
It impacts the Huskies. You're talking about Brima. He's one of the elite rim protectors in all of college basketball. He gets a block every 7 minutes. What does that do to your defense? It enables you to push up, get under, be aggressive defensively, knowing that you have someone at the front of the rim can erase a mistake. So without Brima, a different Connecticut team. This team has front court depth, but no one that can protect the rim like Brima.
And Kevin Ollie said, obviously, our other big men, Kenton Facey, he's in the game actually right now, number 12. Stephen Enoch, a freshman. We'll see him later. They have to play better. Nolan has to play better. But our guards have to play better defense on the perimeter, too.
You've got to contain the basketball now. Keep it in front. Pressure without getting beat on straight line drives. That'll be the key for Connecticut moving forward in league play. Going to get a foul called on setting the screen on Evan Phoenix. Number 1 on him and number 2 on the Blue Devils. Kevin Ollie is so good coming out of timeouts. I'm interested to see coming down the floor right now. I call it special situations or ATOs. What type of set he'll run, because he's going to dictate the shot in this situation. Now, his 13 years of experience playing in the NBA, is that why he's so good coming out of timeouts? Absolutely huge. Playing for some of the best coaches that have ever coached the game. Boy, Purvis, it's hard to figure out what happened on that shot. Really good execution. Got a huge driving lane, just didn't finish. The ball seemed to just inexplicably slip out of his hand and headed the opposite direction of the rim. I hate when it's inexplicably. Never a good thing for a coach. This is Mustafa Jones, backdoor cut to Cumberlander, scored the goal. That will be goaltending on Sean Miller. Really good pressure on the basketball, but off the ball, if you're denying, you've got to be alert on the backside. Daniel Hamilton overplays that pass. Terrific cut in terms of waiting and setting up the cut. Great execution for Central. Hamilton will get an early rest. And in the game, Omar Calhoun, a senior who has scored 14 points in each of his last 2 games. And shooting the ball at a high level. Calhoun, an experienced player, physically strong, and he gives him another shot maker on the perimeter. Gibbs had the wide open look, didn't take it. I that's the hardest thing when you transfer. You got to know where your shots are coming from. Gibbs wide open there. He needs to be shot ready.
Shot clock at 2, and the bailout jumper is good by Kenton Facey. There's a young man, Seth, who only plays 13 minutes a game, but he averages 4 points and 4 rebounds.
He's extremely active, athletic, really does a nice job of running the floor and getting to the glass.
He'll get some more playing time now with the injury to Brima, who, by the way, will undergo that surgery on his finger right around the 12-minute timeout in the second half today. Not here at the XL Center.
I thought it was Dr. Picozzi on the call.
The jumper is up no good by Bowles. Last touch by Central. And it will go back to the Huskies with a 4-point lead. In chatting with Howie Dickerman, he said, look, we know they're better, but you can't change the way you play for one night. We look at this game, we're trying to get ready for our league. We're better when we run. We're going to run even though we know they're better at it than we are.
That's exactly right. You've got to set your system to beat the best team in your league, not the best team on your schedule. And this is a very young, but I think talented Central team that's only going to get better.
Omar Calhoun will be called for an over-the-back foul on the rebound. That's 1 on him and 2 on the team. Central is picked to finish dead last in the 10-team NEC. Mount St. Mary's is picked to win it.
Connecticut extending their defense, trying to force a turnover and get some easy offense.
Cumberlander for 3. Rebound pulled down by Miller. Here's Jalen Adams, the highly regarded freshman. And he gets bumped on the play by Bowles. That will be 1 on him and 3 on Central.
And Connecticut plays much faster with Adams in the game. Nice job of getting a deep outlet. He's going to push, attack, probe, try to draw a second defender. Adams has a chance to be an elite point guard. The one thing he's got to do, he's got to sometimes slow down and let the game come to him and read the defense.
Well, he comes out of a town that has been pretty good to the Huskies, Roxbury, Massachusetts.
They've had a couple of dudes that are pretty good from that place. So one guy, I think, helped them win a championship.
Shabazz Napier, the most outstanding player in the Final Four on that last UConn title team in 2014. Here's Purvis around the Facey screen. He's doubled. Central really extending the defense set.
Central trapping every single ball screen, trying to get the ball out of the ball handler's hands, and done a good job behind the ball, basically zoning up behind it.
Foul on Jaleel Nails, his first and 4 on the team.
Watch every time they get in a ball screen situation, you're going to see Central really be aggressive on the basketball. Right there, that's an easy call. That's what Coach John Gaffney was talking about. You put 2 hands on the ball handler, it's going to be a foul.
Purvis went right around Nels but couldn't finish. Gets his own rebound, then gets stripped, and Adams picks up the loose change. Bowles on the drive, counted, and the foul. Chance for a 3-point play for Bowles.
Bowles is a guy that gives Central Connecticut a little bit of quickness. He's an aggressive player. He's an attacking player. Right. Against pressure, what do? You don't want to reset it. You get a gap, attack the gap. Bowles finishes. Not a great jump shooter, but this guy brings energy. He can defend and he can attack the rack.
The basket did not count. It's a 2-shot foul, the foul on Adams. Today, college football bowl game comes your way. We have a doubleheader for you, beginning with the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Boise State versus Northern Illinois. Then tonight, Georgia Southern versus Bowling Green in the GoDaddy Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Bowling Green will be coached by Brian Ward, an interim coach, because they lost their coach, Seth. Dino Babers is off to Syracuse.
Bowling Green, it's like a cradle of coaches now. It used to be Miami of Ohio, but right now, a lot of good coaches have come from Bowling Green, including Urban Meyer.
Shane Miller takes it right to the rack and will draw a foul, and Central is really getting into foul trouble.
Connecticut really trying to punch the ball into the block. You can't allow your offensive player to establish himself that deep. Miller's got to finish that, though.
Second foul on Pierre, 6 on the team. And at the line will go Miller, who missed a year at Cornell because of a shoulder injury. That's why he is here at UConn. He has used 3 years of eligibility during his 4 years as a student at Cornell.
And the hardest thing for Central Connecticut is defending the post at this level. They don't have the size, the depth, or the strength. So what they've got to try to do is defend the post early. If they allow Connecticut to establish themselves with a foot in the paint, it becomes really hard to guard the ball.
Miller departs after the made free throws, and Hamilton returns for the Huskies. Hamilton on the preseason watch list for the Wooden Award, and there's the steal by Calhoun, but his pass to Hamilton too far ahead of him and over the baseline.
Connecticut looking to press every opportunity they get. That's just a kind of one trap and done. Once you force the turnover, you've got to make good decisions. Right now, Connecticut's been a little bit careless with the basketball.
Cumberlander and Nels both return for the Blue Devils.
Guarantee games. What you want to do in guarantee games is make sure the game's played at your pace. Connecticut trying to speed this game up a little bit with their defense by extending their defense.
Bowles leaves for Cumberlander for three. Rebound pulled down by Hamilton.
Is he a terrific rebounder to small forward position? He can handle, he can rebound the ball. He's got to make better decisions.
Got stripped by Phoenix quickly. The other way is Cumberlander. Where did that come from? Exploded for the flush for his third and fourth points. Purvis hits the defense, shot is blocked, but the foul will be called.
Keelan Cumberlander, he is not afraid to make a play in transition. Phoenix with the pass. Cumberlander takes it at the rack. Central Connecticut, not going anywhere.
UConn leads Central by 5. 8.5 minutes gone. Welcome back to the XL Center. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Seth. Where's Seth?
I've had enough of you, Bob. I had to decide to take a TV timeout right here.
What are you doing down there?
We're going to try to give you a little different perspective of this basketball game. Right here on the baseline, you're going to get a chance to see this Connecticut defense from as maybe the trail official would see it or the lead official would see it also. Try to see their defensive rotations. Again, as a coach, you're looking at the game from all different angles. We're going to look at this basketball game from the baseline. We're going to be able to see it in transition as the ball moves into the front court. Just a little bit of a different perspective, but I'll see you shortly.
All right. There's Kevin Ollie, who, as we mentioned earlier, played for 15 different coaches during his 13-year tour of duty in the NBA, and nearly all of them will say that Kevin managed to prolong that career, Seth, because he was, in effect, an assistant coach as a player. Team after team brought him in to counsel new players and to help them with the transition into the professional level. He
was a great teammate and a great mentor. When you have young players and they come into the league, that transition period really can determine their success in terms of long-term and your team's success. Having a guy in the locker room, having a guy that can mentor these players is really an investment. And Kevin Ollie, he was coaching then, and he's really coaching now.
Purvis knocks down the 2 free throws. One of those relationships exists to this day. Kevin Ollie remains very close to Kevin Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Cumberlander leads, and the jumper by Malik Toppin no good. Rebound one-handed to Facey. Up top, Adams. Facey sets the high screen for Gibbs on the switch, picked up by Phoenix.
You'll see a lot of NBA concepts in Kevin Ollie's offense, a lot of spread ball screens, terrific spacing, trying to create 2-on-1 situations coming off the ball screen.
Adams with the miss. Central quickly the other way. Nels thought about it. So far, Seth, UConn has done a great job defending Nels, who is far and away the Blue Devils' best perimeter shooter.
Yeah, they're almost red defending him. What I mean by that is giving very little help off him, staying home, trying to force him to put the ball on the floor.
Cumberlander with the miss. Rebound Adams. Central with a good job getting back in transition. They leave for Calhoun. Air ball, and here's Nels the other way.
I like that Central's looking to attack on opportunity. You don't want to play against Connecticut's set defense. Every opportunity they get, they're trying to push the basketball.
Facey touched it last. 22 to shoot for Central, and there's our first look at Stephen Enoch, freshman from Norwalk, Connecticut, Connecticut Gatorade Player of the Year, and Seth, with the injury to Brima, this is a chance for Enoch to grab some extra minutes.
I really like Enoch. Big body, physical, tough. He's got to learn how to compete each and every play, not take plays off like most freshmen.
Toppin, defended by the much shorter Gibbs, and went right around him.
I really like Toppin. Toppin looks a little bit to me like Hilton Armstrong, the former Connecticut Husky, but very talented, skilled freshman. Really patient on that low post play.
UConn by 5. The lob and the finish by Enoch.
Daniel Hamilton, he is a terrific passing small forward, averaging over 5 assists a game.
Toppin's jumper is good, so Toppin showing some diversification to his game.
Interesting thing right here, Bob, is that this Central Connecticut team, they're not backing down. They're almost trying to be the aggressor, attacking Connecticut.
Gibbs drove it to the rack, and he drew the foul on Toppin. 2 on him.
Playing behind the defense on penetration is huge. Hamilton puts it in the gap. Enoch playing behind the help. High percentage shot. Enoch's a guy that has a big body. He can rebound the basketball. The biggest transition when you have from being a high school player to playing at this level is you've got to stay engaged and compete each and every play. You can't take plays off. That's the transition for Enoch right now.
Gibbs at the line, very good free throw shooter. 9th best in the American at 83.3%. And Kevin Ollie told us that we know Gibbs will shoot better. We're trying to play him off the ball at times to help him get better looks, because so far, Seth, he has struggled a bit from the perimeter. He's really a better shooter than his stats would indicate.
I like him as an off guard. I'm not sure he's a guy that makes other guys better. He can come off a ball screen, but if you run him in transition, if you run him off screens, I do think he's a big-time jump shooter. Again, he's got to understand where his shots are coming from. That's the difference between making and missing shots a lot of times. 5-second
violation called on Central. They didn't inbound the ball in time, so they'll go right back to UConn under its own basket with 9:18 to go in the half. 6th turnover for the Blue Devils. Miller, good pump fake, took it right at Phoenix. Rebound on the floor. Peel tries to prevent the held ball and cannot. And on the arrow, it will stay at the UConn end.
Sean Miller's really struggling finishing right now. He's got to get himself on balance and play 2 contact. That's right now what he's trying to do. He's trying to draw contact instead of trying to just finish in traffic.
Purvis to Hamilton. And nailing the 3 is Miller. Huskies have opened up a 10-point lead. We've played 11 minutes. Phoenix. Enoch wouldn't let him get around. Here's Miller with the double team at the baseline. Threw it right into the hands of Purvis. 3-on-2 for UConn. Gibbs! And it's blocked by Cumberlander. But John Gaffney calls the goaltending from mid-court. Did he have the better view of it, Seth?
He did have. The trail officials got to make that call, but I thought the defensive play on the other end was terrific by Connecticut. You're talking about doubling the post, and when you double the post, you have 2 interceptors. Great interception. Ball goes baseline. Look at the help from the top. You double it from the top. Look at the weak side players right now. Defensively, you want to create a weak side eye, good steal. They get out in transition. Connecticut trying to now make Central Connecticut react to them, forcing them into turnovers, trying to create offense.
And another turnover.
And that's what, when you're playing these games, and I've been on both sides of a guarantee game, when you're playing a guarantee game, you want to own the tempo of the game if you're paying that guarantee. And what do? If you're more talented, you extend your defense, you try to speed up your opponent, try to create some easy offense. Connecticut doing a nice job with that.
So when you say guarantee game, most games, non-conference games, are usually a 2-year contract, maybe a home and home, or maybe 4 years, 3 at our place, 1 at yours. But this is strictly every game at UConn, and they just get a check for coming here.
This is probably $90 grand and a bus ride is what it is.
Only a 9-mile ride from the New Britain, Connecticut campus of Central Connecticut to the XL Center. Central is closer to this venue than UConn is. UConn's campus is 27 miles away.
I do like the defensive intensity of Connecticut. They're maintaining a defensive presence. They're alert defensively on and off the ball. Until then.
Nels finally knocks one down. His 26th three-pointer of the year, 2nd most in the NEC.
They've got 3 very talented freshmen. Nels can really make shots. Topping is a long prospect that's going to get better, and I think Evan Phoenix is a very skilled player.
Rodney Purvis with the basket. He's got 4. Averages 15 to lead the Huskies. UConn had all 5 players in double figures last time out against Lowell. Counted and the foul. The basket is good by Nels. He'll try to make it a 3-point play.
Nels with a little shot fake. He lifts his defender, attacks the basket. Enoch a step late. Nels finishes it. This is a Central Connecticut team that is competing at a high level.
They all come your way on the ESPN networks and ABC. College football playoff semifinal number 1 at 4 Eastern time on New Year's Eve, and semifinal number 2 at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Should be a great day. Just make sure you check the batteries in your remote.
Kevin always set up a play right here. Little horns action. Try to get Daniel Hamilton isolated on that high post. Up, there's a foul.
Yeah, you were eavesdropping in the huddle. What'd you hear?
Well, he was upset because 2 possessions in a row they lose. Nels knocks down the 3, then gets a shot fake and drives the basketball and gets a 3-point play. Coming down the other end, he wanted to set up what we call a horns action, which is 2 high screeners and come off one and then bring Hamilton behind for a quick isolation. But they were up 15. Get 2 stops, and all of a sudden now, this game could be over. So maintaining a defensive intensity and a focus and an attention to detail was Kevin's message. And I think that message will be received by the way it was sent.
Well, you were quite attentive during that timeout. I'm not sure I've ever seen you speechless for that many consecutive seconds. That might have been a new PR for you, a new personal record.
It's interesting watching coaches interact with their teams and more importantly, how the players respond. And you could see this basketball team is totally buying in to Kevin Ollie.
Nolan back on the floor, and going right up and over him is Mustafa Jones with the left hand.
I had a chance to see the practice this past week. I like Mustafa Jones. He's got to get stronger, but he's got to feel how to score.
We'll get a foul on setting the screen called on Nolan for UConn. That will be 2 on him, and number 5 on Kevin Ollie's team. When Kevin Ollie played at UConn, he always struck me, and at the time I was working at a local TV station, so it was my job to cover the UConn team. He was far more serious and far more mature than the typical college player of his age.
He's got a tremendous maturity. It's the way he's been raised. And I was at Long Beach State when he was at Crenshaw High School. In fact, recruited a couple of his teammates, Ronnie Wimbush, who played at Crenshaw. And Kevin was always a guy that other players looked to.
Another foul on Nolan, a power move to the goal by Brandon Peel. That's 3 fouls on Nolan.
Peel, one of the better scorers in the NEC, but defensively, that's not an attention to detail. You got to stay between the ball and the basket, stay on the ground, keep the game in front, and stay with the play. Nolan gets himself out of position. That's an easy 3-point scoring opportunity.
Nolan, throughout his career, has struggled with foul trouble. Getting the start today because of the injury to Amita Brima, who is the 9th leading shot blocker in the country, the reigning American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year.
And
called for the travel set.
And they're getting no consistency from that position right now. I expect to see Kevin Ollie eventually go to the small lineup with Miller at 5, Hamilton at 4. Now they can extend their defense. They can be more alert. They can switch some things on the perimeter. But more importantly, now they can put more pressure at all 5 spots defensively.
After today's game, UConn will take a break for the Christmas holiday and then resume action next Tuesday night at Texas. And then it's off to league play, the league opener against Tulane on January 2nd in New Orleans.
And not having Brima for that Texas game. Terrific backdoor.
Great execution. Peel to Cumberlander, who's got 6. Gibbs penetrates, kick out Purvis, deep 3. Rebound baseline is pulled down by Bowles.
Terrific defense by Central. They're keeping the game in front. They're not overhelping, and they're forcing jump shots. If I'm Howie Dickerman, I'm really proud of the way our team has approached this game and stayed in the game after they got down 15.
Hamilton with the spinorama, then dumps it down, but Facey couldn't field it cleanly. Instead, Miller cleans up.
And that's what Miller gives you at the 5. He gives you an explosive athlete that can finish around the basket. He's a much better finisher and offensive player than Facey or Nolan.
This is Jones. Went right around the screen and finishes.
Scouting report. You know Jones is a left-hander. You can't let him get to his left hand and get to the rim. That will not make Kevin Ollie happy.
Well, the other day, the good news is UConn shot 64% in the win over Lowell. The bad news is UMass Lowell shot 50% in the loss.
I was at that game. I thought UMass Lowell, coming from the same conference, is really a good low major basketball team in that they ran good offense and really executed well, but UConn made shots.
Hamilton misses rebounds the Jones miss at the 4:10 mark.
This is the time you'd like to see Hamilton start to make some plays.
Reverses it to Purvis, goes right down the lane, and will draw the foul.
I really like what Harry Dickerman's doing. Every time Hamilton comes off a ball screen, they're trapping him, getting him the ball out of his hands, and then forcing Connecticut to make an extra pass. Their defensive game plan's been terrific. Watch this little drag ball screen. Peel gets all the way up there. They trap it. They get the ball out of his hands. Now you're forcing him to skip it and making people jump shooters. Purvis makes a good play, but getting the ball out of Hamilton's hands, I think, is huge. Such a terrific passer for a 6'7" small forward.
First foul on Jones, 10 on the team. Now Hamilton the other day, Seth, took only 8 shots in 33 minutes. As talented as he is, do you want him to take more shots than that?
I think they need him to be more aggressive. They like to get him the ball in the middle of the floor and some high-low stuff where he can drive and shoot it. And the other thing, he's got to be more shot ready. I think, when you're the best player in the team, and I really believe he is, when he's coming off screens or making plays, he's got to be ready to score. Same way with Jamal Murray, the kid at Kentucky, the kid from Canada. He's had that same problem.
The steal by Gibbs. Pretty feed. Miller to Hamilton, back to Miller.
He is such a good passer.
10 first half points for Miller.
That's feel right. He's got a terrific feel. He's a willing passer, and he sees plays Hamilton.
Peel with the spin move goes around Hamilton and will draw the foul.
In transition, you want to make the right play. Read the defense. Is the defense in your lane or out of your lane? Right here, Hamilton reads it. Give it, you get it back. Huskies on a run.
Coach, and there's our ESPN colleague Jim Calhoun, the Hall of Famer who coached the Huskies to 3 national championships. And under his watch, he had just a few assistants set who have gone on to get head coaching jobs of their own, including the 2 head coaches in this game today.
Yes, and Dave Lato, by the way, at the Paul right now, had a huge win yesterday against George Washington. Steve Peichel's done a great job at Stony Brook. And you know what happens? When you hang banners like that, your assistants get jobs, and they're ready to not only get jobs, but do a great job. He's got one of his former assistants on the bench now with Kevin Ollie, who was the former coach at GW. Carl Hobbs. And Carl Hobbs did not a good. He did a terrific job at GW, but sometimes you stay at the place too long. Carl Hobbs is a head basketball coach. He deserves another opportunity to have his own program.
Carl Hobbs was Patrick Ewing's high school teammate at Cambridge Rindge and Latin. Played here at UConn under Don Perno. Kevin Ollie's entire staff has UConn connections. They either graduated from UConn or in the case of Glenn Miller, Glenn began his college playing career at UConn, finished up under Jim Calhoun at Northeastern, and this is Glenn's second tour of duty on the UConn staff. 2 more for Miller.
Yeah, more importantly, Daniel Hamilton creates that offense. Coming out of the timeout, that was that roll replace, getting the ball to Hamilton in the middle of the floor, where he is so good, and he makes the right play.
5th assist for Hamilton. And Hamilton will be called for the foul there. Hamilton was leading the conference in assists before Nick Moore of SMU passed him with his performance last night. And speaking of SMU, they had a new/old coach on the bench.
Yeah, pretty good coach in Larry Brown. Right here, there's the roll by Sean Miller. Hamilton attacks the middle of the floor, draws the second defender. He's got such a great feel for reading the defense. He's a point forward that makes everyone else better, and I think he's really tough to match up with at the 4.
Larry Brown serving his 9-game suspension at the beginning of the season and on the bench for SMU for the first time this season. Last night as Miller picks up 2 more. He's got 14 first half points. Central has no answer for him.
And again, Hamilton making the play, making the game easy for Sean Miller. That's what a great ball handler, point forward does. Is he makes plays and makes the game easier for everyone else. Kind of like Denzel Valentine from Michigan State.
Nels with the miss. Michigan State struggling mightily last night in their first game without Valentine. Another assist for Hamilton. It's his 6th. Valentine is out a couple of weeks after undergoing a minor arthroscopic procedure on his knee. And Oakland University last night took the top-ranked Spartans into overtime on ESPNU.
Terrific basketball game. And, in the first half, Michigan State gives up 50 points. That had nothing to do with missing Denzel Valentine. That halftime, I got to believe, that was a tad bit interesting. Here's Hamilton again. So quick and uncertain.
And Purvis with the finish. Daniel Hamilton has 8 assists.
Daniel Hamilton, he's a little Magic-esque when we're talking about Michigan State. I mean, you're talking about a guy that sees all 5 defenders, plays with his head up. Right here. He rebounds the basketball, and the first 2 dribbles, head up, sees the floor. Purvis, pretty good finisher, but when you can rebound the ball and your best defensive rebounder also is a playmaker, then all of a sudden you can have a transition offense. Terrific job by Daniel Hamilton.
Daniel Hamilton would probably be pretty good on a football field. And speaking of which, 2 more bowl games come your way today on the ESPN networks, beginning at 4:30 Eastern Time. Boise State is in its 14th straight bowl game. Northern Illinois is in its 8th straight. That's the Poinsettia Bowl. Then tonight at 8 on ESPN, the Go Daddy Bowl from Mobile, Alabama, Georgia Southern versus Bowling Green. How about Sean Lurie of Northern Illinois? He's got 9 interceptions. Kevin Ollie would love to have him on that press, huh?
He wants him on the back line. He doesn't want up there trapping. He wants him on the backside. By the way, your research, incredible. More organized than crime.
Careful now.
This is the lineup for Connecticut that I really like. When they play a little bit smaller, Faces in the game now, but when they play smaller, Hamilton's at the 4, this team can really get out in transition because he's your best rebounder and he can initiate the fast break.
Purvis nearly stole it. 1 minute to go in the half. Inside spin move, and it's blocked by Facey, but a foul will be called.
2 shots, guys. Here we go.
Good job of rotating out of this double team here, but don't bring your hand down. Wall up, get both hands straight up, and you know what? If Topic makes a shot over you, that's fine, but you can't bail him out by coming down with your hands. Facey is an upperclassman, needs to just wall up and force Topic to score over him.
Facey, a young man from Jamaica, didn't even play basketball until the age of 15, moved to the United States at age 17, so he's still learning the game. And we will get Kevin Ollie's first half use it or lose it timeout.
And Kevin Ollie right now, he's going to go 2 for 1. This is his NBA background. He's going to go put something on this board right now, try to get a quick shot, try to get a stop, and then get the last possession of the game. And Kevin Ollie, he worked for Jim Calhoun, but he also played for Jim Calhoun. But he played for so many of the best coaches in the history of the NBA. The Chuck Daly's and Larry Browns. And, the guy, Howie Dickerman, when you talk about Jim Calhoun and coaches here, he helped build what we know today is UConn basketball and helped hang every one of these banners because he helped change the culture. Think about the guys on that list.
Well, Cliff Robinson only lasted in the NBA for 18 years. Chris Smith, leading scorer in UConn history. Scott Burrell in his first season as a collegiate head coach now at Southern Connecticut State University. Gibbs on the drive had it blocked. Inside Facey blocked again by Peel, but he may have raked him across the wrist.
And there's going quick, attacking quick, getting a quick 2 for 1. Now all of a sudden, Connecticut will get the ball back at the last possession of the game. That's the NBA background of Kevin Ollie.
So Facey will go to the line. Foul was on Brandon Peel. That is his first. Jim Calhoun came to UConn in 1986. And in his second year, the Huskies won an NIT championship. And I think all the things you want to say in glowing terms about Howie Dickerman. Let me ask you, coach against Jim Calhoun, and let's, Jim's our colleague now. We have to be kind to him, but Jim can Jim can be a little stubborn at times. Would you say? Is that fair?
I would say Coach Calhoun lets you know his opinion. And for you made a great point, Bob. For Coach Calhoun to take Howie Dickerman, who was working for another coaching staff that was let go, and hire him, that just shows you the character and the respect he had for Howie Dickerman. Howie
Dickerman, he kept from the previous staff, and Howie stayed 10 years before he could not resist the lure of becoming a head coach at his alma mater. 12 seconds left on the shot clock, and Nell stepped on the baseline, and now the shot clock is off. One last possession for UConn.
And I look for Kevin Ollie right now to maybe go back to that little high ball screen and bring Hamilton behind, see if he can attack from the middle of the floor. They've been so good at that. Watch Hamilton sprint up here eventually for some type of quick run-out ball screen. Here he comes.
Casey also sets the screen.
Throw back, and there it goes.
Hamilton with 5. Rebound. Casey with 2. And the half will end that way. So UConn on an 11-0 run to end the half. And they are just killing the Blue Devils, Seth, off the offensive boards.
You manage the end of the half. This is a role replacement. You drive the ball, good things happen. You draw a second defender. What does that do? It puts you in position to get to the offensive glass. Terrific execution at the end of the half. Connecticut finishing with a flurry.
20-point UConn lead. Now let's go to Anish Shroff and Dino Gaudio with the Kay Jewelers halftime report.
And welcome to the Kay Jewelers halftime report with Dino Gaudio and Anish Shroff. Thank you, Bob. UConn up comfortably at the break, shooting 57%. The big story coming into this game, Dino, Connecticut without its big man, Amita Brima, out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken finger. What have they done without him?
Well, they've rebounded the ball well, Anish, and that was a big concern coming in. And Sean Miller has really filled the vacancy without him in there. He's playing terrific. But the other thing that they bring to the table, they're playing small ball. They have guys on the perimeter. And Anish, when you have guys that shoot the ball well on the perimeter, look at the spacing that you have. So good penetration, wonderful spacing. There's Miller with the 3. Now, where they miss him is on the defensive end of the floor. That's where he's most impactful. So here's a backdoor play. There's no resistance at the rim because Brima isn't there. And then here's just a little ball screen, a little brush screen action. Again, the ball, they take the ball, Central Connecticut, right to the rim. They really miss him as a rim protector, erasing errors that the guards make.
Let's bring it back just a little. Central Connecticut is 1-8. I got a lot of love for hard-hitting New Britain, but it's been a tough season for the Blue Devils. For UConn, where will they really feel the loss of Brima once they get into conference play, and what sort of adjustments will they have to make then?
Well, when they play Cincinnati with Octavius Ellis, when they play SMU with Marcus Kennedy, that's when they're really going to miss him. And those games are coming up, league play for Connecticut in 10 days. So they'll miss him there. And then, Anish, when you get into league play, to be good on offense also, you need to have a screening game and an inside game. I'm not sure who that inside guy is against Ellis and Marcus Kennedy and guys of that ilk on the interior.
Yeah, Brima averaging 3 blocks a season, 3 blocks a game before the injury. And as you saw there on that graphic, the reigning conference defensive player of the year. UConn up on Central Connecticut at the half by the game you're watching. Later today, it's a Festivus Wednesday? It's Wednesday, yes. Right? It is Wednesday. Here on ESPNU, New Mexico, BYU at 2:30. Auburn and Harvard, those games part of the Diamond Head Classic. Utah Valley against Louisville at 7. Pepperdine, Portland at 9. Wazoo, Northern Iowa at 11:30 Eastern. Still ahead, one of the best stories of the early season in college basketball took place last night in Gainesville. Why that young man is making headlines.
You're watching ESPN's Holiday Hoops, presented by Kay Jewelers.
Welcome back to the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut, where at the half, UConn leads Central Connecticut 46-26. There's Teddy, our cameraman, getting into the spirit of the season. Next to last shopping day. before Christmas, a little bit of a businessman's holiday, and Daniel Hamilton did some business in the first half for the Huskies, Seth Greenberg.
Daniel Hamilton, he's dropping some gifts. As a 6'7" point forward, he sees the floor. Every defensive rebound is an opportunity for a transition bucket. You get the ball in the middle of the floor, he makes everyone else on the floor better. Right now, he's got 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He's on his way to a double-double, and he's only taken 3 shots. This has the potential to be a triple-double night for Daniel Hamilton, a very gifted, talented point forward.
You look at the points in the paint, that is somewhat deceiving. It's not like the Huskies are getting a lot of dump downs and dunks.
No, they're not. They're getting it out in transition. They're getting it off penetration. Every defensive rebound for Hamilton is a fast break opportunity and a paint touch. And when he gets in the lane off penetration, he draws a second defender. And when he draws that second defender, it's basically a lay-in or a dunk.
Seth, with 5:42 to go in the half, Central trailed by just 5. Then UConn won on an 18-3 run to end the half. How'd they do it?
They did it with defense, getting stops. What I call gaps. You get 3 stops in a row, that's a gap. When you get that gap, you attack in transition. They get out in transition. And Hamilton, no doubt in my mind, he was the difference during that period. When he plays the 4, it's like having another point guard on the floor, and he makes plays. He makes everyone else better. And he's got a little Denzel Valentine in him. He can be a little more aggressive offensively, looking to score it. He can really impact this game.
Kenton Facey starting the second half for UConn. Philip Nolan started the game, picked up 3 fouls. Huskies without Amita Brima, who broke the ring finger on his right hand in practice Monday, undergoing surgery in about 20 minutes, and he will be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Dino Gordio is right on the money. Kevin Ollie right now, he's got to look at these other 3 post players. So who's going to step up and earn an opportunity to get some of those minutes?
There's assist number 9. And Miller with his 15th and 16th points.
He uses his size to see over the defense. And even at the small forward position, he makes plays for others.
He has equaled his season high, has Hamilton, with those 9-6. Brandon Peele with a miss, and the rebound is pulled down by Daniel Hamilton. That's his 9th rebound. The dunking move by Facey. Peele got a piece of it from the other side.
Central needs to be a little bit more aggressive, play with a little greater energy, try to get a couple consecutive stops.
This is Phoenix, defended by Facey. Phoenix finding a little bit more difficult to maneuver against UConn than it was the other night against UMass Lowell when he exploded for 28. Nels with the baseline. The reverse layup gets bailed out by a foul, but he went down hard and is holding his head.
The 3 freshmen for Central, I think they're all going to be very good players within their conference. Right here, once again, driving to close out. And he goes down hard, but
see, he lost his balance when he was hit. Fortunately, he looks to be okay. Still wincing. The foul on Facey, his 2nd one on the team. Nels from Tucson, Arizona, played last year at Cheshire Academy. His dad, one of the great scorers in Arizona history.
I like this kid. He can shoot the ball to the 3. He uses his shot fake to set up his drive. He's got a toughness about him. Central Connecticut recruited him early and hard. And he kind of blew up in prep school, but he remained loyal to Central. You like to see that. That's the way he kind of carries himself.
8 points for Nels. He averages a dozen. Now, if Hamilton's going to get a triple-double, once in a while he's got to take a shot. He's only taken 3 today. Miller inside will draw the foul on Phoenix. Number 3 on him.
Bob, he's a willing passer. He understands every time he makes a play, he makes someone else better. And where does he have to get his shots? When he comes off those ball screens, he's got to take one hard last dribble, jump up and shoot it. Maybe try to get to the offensive glass a little bit more or get out in transition. The problem is, this is a Connecticut team that really doesn't have a pure playmaker. Adams is the guy. When Adams comes to the point, you'll see Hamilton score. But when he's not in the game, Gibbs is what I call a ball guard, and what I mean by that is he's more of a scoring guard that can play the point. Purvis is a guy that's best in transition. So who's going to make a play to get Hamilton a shot? That's the problem when he's the small forward.
18 points for Miller. Full court pressure employed by the Huskies. Beal having trouble inbounding. They get it across the midcourt line in time. And then the ball is lost out of bounds by Bowles. Turnover number 11 for Central.
Really good job of Connecticut, not only pressing but running back through the press and what we call chasing behind the basketball. Really good energy right here for Connecticut.
This is Gibbs, preseason second team All-American Athletic Conference selection. Leaves for Hamilton. Finally a shot. Can't get it to go. Rebound last touch by Central.
They love that set when they bring Hamilton behind the play on those high ball screens, and then he's one-on-one in the middle of the floor. He can drive it, finish. He can make a play for others. Really good offense.
Hamilton actually began his high school career at Kevin Ollie's alma mater, Crenshaw High School. The block by Beal and the putback by Miller, and he is fouled from behind by Phoenix, and that will be his fourth.
Crenshaw High School, when I was at Long Beach State, what a great place to go. But again, Rodney Purvis attacking the basket. When you get to the basket, you force the defense into rotation. What does that do? It puts you in position to offensive rebound. Crenshaw High School is one of those places back in the day, as they would say. They had open gym the last period of school. There had to be 40 dudes that could just flat play. I mean, like when Howard Dickman would walk in that gym, Kevin Ollie separated himself by his character, how hard he played, his understanding of the game. But I remember as an assistant coach walking into that gym and saying, man, we could just get two of these guys, we could win some games.
And they had a few other athletes come out of Central High School, like out of Crenshaw High School, like Darryl Strawberry, Eric Davis, who went on outstanding Major League Baseball careers. That'll be an offensive foul called on number 15, Shakaris Laney. UConn's recruiting class, the class of 2016, ESPN ranks it as the 5th best class in the country.
And terrific. And they've got great balance in this class. They've got shot makers. They've got Gilbert is an explosive little guard that gets in the lane and makes plays. Juwan Durham is a kid from Tampa Prep High School. Their high school coach, actually, Joe Fenlon, just won his 700th game. Right now he's hurt, but he's a very talented player. This is a very complete class. And they've got Terry Larriere, transferred from VCU, sitting out as well.
Hamilton with his 10th assist and Miller with the finish.
How good a pass was that, though? Seeing the defense rotate and making the right decision.
Nick Moore's stay is atop the American assist leaderboard. Isn't going to last very long.
You get double figures playing with Hamilton.
No, I wouldn't go that far. Bowles with the up and under move. Facey sets the high screen for Purvis. Purvis around the Miller screen.
See, notice the ball move here, Bob. No one's making a play for Hamilton. He's making a play for others.
Gibbs makes the tough shot. He's got 10.
Gibbs he's wired to score. He can shoot it. He can put it on the floor. I mean, the guy scored at Seton Hall. He scored at Texas. He can make buckets.
Played 1 year at Texas, 2 at Seton Hall. Finishing out his career as a graduate student here at UConn. Shot clock inside 10. Laney over Hamilton. Shakaris Laney with his first three-pointer of the season. Had only taken 3 others. And Miller, just everything is falling. 23 points.
Miller really patient in the low block. And imagine him in the Ivy League.
Well, I saw him play the Ivy League at the Charleston Classic last year. He stuck out like a sore thumb at that level. He's 9 of 11 from the floor today. Inside the jump hook by Toppin, no good. Rebound pulled down by Hamilton. That's his 10th. So there's your non-scoring double-double. And the finish by Facey. And the timeout by Howie Dickinson.
Daniel Hamilton, he really does a terrific job of seeing the floor in transition. He plays with his head up. He reads the defense. He sees the plays develop. Daniel Hamilton dropping dimes for the Huskies.
You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Bob Picozzi, Seth Greenberg back in Hartford, where it is the Daniel Hamilton show this afternoon. Seth?
He's just a complete player. He's a point forward who sees all 5 defenders. He makes plays. He's a willing passer. He's hard to keep out of the lane. And Sean Miller's been a recipient. When you get in the lane and draw a second defender, this is what you get. High percentage shots. When you have a 6-7 player that plays with his head up, he sees over the defense. Hamilton special.
Hamilton, 11 assists today. That ties his career high. It's his 5th double-double this season, his 10th double-double of his career, and he still has 15 minutes to go to add to those numbers. And
I'm not sure he's going to have 15, though.
Hamilton knocks it loose, then Peel trips over Miller's foot, and Miller will be called for the foul. That will take us to our first media timeout of the second half. Leads Central Connecticut by 26 when Howie Dickerman was an assistant for Jim Calhoun at UConn. He recruited Kevin Ollie back from Los Angeles, and before the game, Seth Greenberg had a chance to sit down with both Howie and Kevin.
Could have you ever imagined from that day you'd be sitting with this guy who already has a national championship under his belt as a coach?
Not really. It's hard to project those kind of statements, but I'm not surprised because he is relentless. He's a relentless recruiter. He's a determined person, and he's my best friend in this business.
And the feeling is certainly mutual. Howie told me the other night on the phone, he said, look, it's business today. It's just Kevin's just another coach. Before the game, we'll shake hands like I would shake the opposing coach before every game. But after the game, when we shake hands again, then I will say the same thing I always say to him when I see him, and that's, I love you.
The relationship that KO has with Coach Dickerman and vice versa is really special. Howie got choked up talking about what Kevin's been able to accomplish and what he means to him. To me, as a coach, you always want to have an impact on the guys that played for you, and that's what you miss when you're not coaching, that relationship. It was something really special to see those two guys share a moment.
Reach and foul will be called on Sterling Gibbs. Kevin Ollie out of Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles, and Howie Dickerman, when he first saw Kevin, said he went back to Jim Calhoun and said, look, we want someone who can get the ball from baseline to baseline, right? He said, you bet. He said, here's the kid we got to get.
And Kevin not only could get it from baseline to baseline, but, you know, everyone talks about point guards and leadership. You can't be a leader unless someone follows you. Kevin Ollie has the ability to get others to follow him, to buy into him, to believe in his vision. He's a guy that can be connected at the hip with their head coach and be on the same page. And you see that in the way he coaches and his relationship with his players here at Connecticut as the head coach.
Winning a national championship in his second year. He won't turn 43 until this Sunday. Sean Miller with his 24th and 25th points. So that is a UConn career high for the graduate student from Euclid, Ohio.
Really good job of attacking the zone. And the interesting thing is watching the walkthrough today, Bob. Kevin Ollie was in the stance guarding guys on the perimeter. He might have been the best defender in the gym.
Very good defensive player during his playing days here at UConn. Rebounded by Calhoun. Of course, he played with some very talented guys, particularly some very talented offensive guys. He was on a team with Ray Allen that went all the way to the Elite Eight in 1995, losing a terrific game in the Elite Eight to the eventual national champion UCLA out in Oakland. And Hamilton knocks down the three.
Really good pass. Sean Miller sharing the sugar, making a play for his teammate. Hamilton stepping into that, and that's what he needs to do. He's got to be shot ready when the ball does come to him on an inside out.
He's got 5. Hamilton with the steal. Look out.
Now he's got 7.
He was shot ready on that one.
Let's see him knock down at 3 so we can get this triple-double out of the way.
Yeah, Nels with a very unusual release from his waist. Whatever works. Miller bumped inside, and the foul will be called on Laney.
Daniel Hamilton, he makes everyone else better, but right here, ball goes to the high post. He spots up. He's shot ready. He's down. He knocks down the 3. And then defensively, he's out in the passing lane. And I'd say this is a high percentage shot. He impacts the game at every level. He rebounds the ball. He's an active and alert defender. He sees all 5 defenders, and he can finish.
Kevin Ollie says we like to be positionless, and Daniel can play the 1, 2, 3, or 4. And we'll get an over-the-back rebound foul on Stephen Enoch, his second and 4 on UConn.
Now, do you think he knows he's a three-pointer away from a triple-double? What do you think?
No, I don't think he knows that.
You think the bench knows it?
Nope.
There's no doubt in my mind someone on that bench knows he's a bucket away from a triple-double.
Someone on the bench knows it. Now, when you coached, would you want someone on the bench letting one of your players know he was close to something like that?
No, but I wouldn't mind in a game like this. I mean, a triple-double is an amazing accomplishment because it's not just scoring. It's impacting the game in more ways than one. And I would like to see a guy get an opportunity to do that.
Inside Enoch. Rebound is pulled down by Central's Tydell Pierre.
I mean, that's rare air. You think about all the great players that have played at the University of Connecticut. It'll be only the 11th triple-double in school history. You're talking about some of the best players, the Kemba Walkers and Ray Allens. He knows it. I can tell by the way he shot that one. He was begging that one in.
7 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. Is this his last year at UConn? Will you see him in the NBA next year?
I don't think he's ready. I'm not sure his position is defined enough. I think he's got to get stronger. He's got to find ways to create his own shot a little bit better. Again, this is an interesting year in college basketball because, this Daniel Hamilton, he's a difference maker because of how he plays, how hard he plays, how he impacts the game. He is the leader of this Connecticut basketball team. They are in control against Central Connecticut.
SBN. Now, Seth has moved along the baseline. You're looking for another assist from Hamilton, huh?
I think I could score it on the baseline, sneak behind the defense. Right now, Central go in zone. I would not be surprised to see Kevin Ollie try to get Hamilton a shot.
The runner by Jalen Adams is good. Again, Hamilton with 7 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. 3 points away from from recording the 11th triple-double in UConn history. The last to do it, Shabazz Napier. It will stay at the Central end with 18 seconds to shoot.
The challenge for Kevin Ollie right now and his basketball team is can they maintain a focus, attention to detail on the defensive end, and can you remain unselfish on the offensive end? When you're playing a game like this, you don't want to let your core principles deteriorate. Play good basketball, share the ball, be alert defensively, and maintain an intensity.
Hamilton goes out with 11:26 to go. I imagine we'll see him again. 10 seconds to shoot for Central. And the wild shot by Pierre is no good, but he will be fouled and go to the line to shoot a couple. Foul will be on Enoch. That will be number 3 on him and number 5 on the team. So let me ask you this, Seth. You look at UConn has played an aggressive non-conference schedule. They lost to Gonzaga when they were ranked 10th. They lost a heartbreaker to Maryland at Madison Square Garden when they were ranked number 6. Just how good do you think this UConn team will be when it comes to competing for a title in the American Athletic Conference?
When I look at this conference, the top of the conference, it's top heavy. I mean, Cincinnati lost a tough game last night to a very good Iowa State team. I think Memphis is better than people think. SMU undefeated. I really like their basketball team, but they're not eligible for a conference championship. But I look at Connecticut, I look at a team that will compete at the upper level of the conference, and they do need a couple of quality wins within conference to just seal their fate.
Purvis for 3 against the zone, and he knocks it down. 10 points for Purvis, 11th time he's in double figures this year, and Facey with the defensive rebound. UConn will begin conference play on January 2nd at Tulane. That will be part of the same trip. They'll go directly from the game at Texas on the 29th to Tulane before heading back home to Connecticut since it is over semester break.
And that Texas game right there, that's going to be a tough game for Connecticut because the front court of Texas is absolutely huge. They're trying to buy into that quote-unquote havoc system of Shaka Smart, but Cameron Ridley, their 7-foot center, is really having a terrific year, shooting 70% from the field. And Isaiah Taylor, their perimeter point guard, is starting to buy in and really understand how to play within that system.
Purvis bearing the three. Of course, the signature win in Shaka Smart's first year at Texas, Seth, was a thriller, beating North Carolina at the buzzer a week ago Saturday.
And putting in a system and creating your own culture, it is a process, and you also got to recruit to your culture, and I think that's what Shaka Smart is trying to do. He inherited a terrific winning culture. 16 out of 17 years, Rick Barnes takes his team to the NCAA tournament, but it's a different system.
Facey missed badly, got his own rebound, and had it blocked by Toppin. And one of the players who played for Shaka Smart last year at VCU, Terry Laurier, will be joining UConn next season. He's actually here this year, but has to sit out as a transfer. I had a chance to see him play several times last year, and he is a very talented young man out of the Bronx.
He reminds me a little bit of Sean Miller. Explosive, athletic, quick, can rebound the basketball.
While falling out of bounds, Omar Calhoun buries the three. He's the second most accurate three-point shooter in the American.
Calhoun had a really good sophomore season, and he's a guy that needs to make shots to open up the floor for Connecticut. This is just good ball movement. You come off that high ball screen, it's the second pass out of the ball screen that makes the play. Terrific job. Jalen Adams pulls the defender up. Calhoun shot ready. Calhoun is a shot maker. He gives him a toughness, and he gives him some maturity in that perimeter game.
Well, today's Seth is December 23rd. We're 2 days away from Christmas. What are some of the things on your most wanted gifts for Christmas list?
As a basketball fan, I like good basketball. I like good teams. And when I look at Michigan State, they won yesterday against Oakland. But I want a quick recovery for Denzel Valentine. He's a senior. This is the year of the senior. He makes them a national championship contender. The same thing with Emil Jefferson. Duke is a different basketball team without Jefferson. He gives them versatility in their front court. University of Utah, the other Coach K, coming off that huge win against Duke in Cameron North, Madison Square Garden, but they've got Jakob Poeltl. He's one of the best post guys in the country. But last year, Utah was a terrific defensive team. They haven't defended, and they've turned the ball over. They can defend and turn the ball over. I got them as a sleeper Final Four pick. And finally, West Virginia, or Press Virginia. They turn you over, they rebound the basketball, but they don't exactly shoot it straight. If they can shoot the ball with consistency, if they have someone step up and shoot the three with their ability to defend, turn you over and rebound, Bobby Huggins and the West Virginia Mountaineers are a hard out in a very good, not a great, I mean not an average, but a terrific Big 12 conference. That Big 12 conference, you've got five teams that can all get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
And there are 5 teams ranked in the top 25, including West Virginia at number 19. Down low will get a held ball, and on the possession arrow, it will go back to UConn with 9:07 remaining. Speaking of conferences and teams ranked in the top 25, how about the reconfigured Big East with 4 teams in the top 17 and 3 in the top 10?
And Georgetown is not one of them. The Big East is really a good basketball conference. Xavier showed great character winning at Lake Forest yesterday in the Skip Prosser Classic. You're talking about a league, Villanova. Although they haven't had that marquee win, they're so hard to play against because of their style of play. Providence, Chris Dunn, you have not seen him. He is the most explosive guard in college basketball. He's got a little Russell Westbrook in him. This is a very complete league. And the bottom of that league is getting better as well.
Foul was on Toppin, 3 on him, and 6 on Central. Blue Devils really extending that man-to-man defense. At this point, Seth, you're Howie Dickham, and you really can't coach according to the scoreboard, can you?
No, right now you're working on your game. You're trying to get a little bit better today. You're not going to play anyone in your conference that's going to look like UConn, not with their size, their strength, their quickness. You want to stick to your defensive principles, and you want to execute. Make or miss makes no difference. What you're trying to do is you're treating the next 8 minutes and 23 seconds as a practice. It's one possession defensively, one possession offensively.
Foul on Bowles, his second and 7 on the team, so that will put UConn in the bonus. And at the free throw line will go Sterling Gibbs. There's the view that Seth has from the baseline. Did you, Seth, did you ever get a chance to coach a game at Nashville where the coaches actually coach from the baseline?
No, and that would be really difficult to communicate with your team. I coached at Purdue one year where you're sitting below the court and you're kind of eye level with the guy's sneakers. That was a difficult way to coach. But Vanderbilt is such a unique place, and I think it's actually, in a way, an advantage to the Commodores because they coach that way every single home game. So you have a unique way to communicate with your players.
Nels will walk it up the floor. This is the 14th time these two in-state rivals have met. Central has never beaten UConn. Central already lost this year to the University of Hartford from the state, and they'll play one more in-state rival next week against Yale. Shot no good. Hamilton with the rebound, so he's back on the floor again, needing only 3 points for a triple-double. Air ball on the 3. Ahead it goes to Masaba. But it's blocked by Facey. The putback is no good by Nails, but he gets fouled.
Weak side help. You got to be alert off the basketball. You got to get a good angle. Mustafa Jones takes it hard, but the little fella challenging it at the rim.
I have to give you loyal again, okay? Aggressive, determined. Those are 3 words I'm going to give you. And but loyalty to the university, loyalty to his friends. So, quick story, okay? We recruited Daron Sheffer from Israel, okay? And Kevin had 2 more years to play. I called Kevin into my office and I said, Kevin, KO, we're recruiting this player, Daron Sheffer from Israel. He's a terrific point guard. They love him in Israel, this, that, and everything else. I mean, he's a terrific player. Kevin looked me in the eye. Looked me in the eye and says, Coach, I don't care who you bring in here. I'm the point guard for the next 2 years. The story ends with Daron Sheffer did start as off the ball, and then Kevin Ollie was the point guard for the next 2 years.
One word to describe Coach.
Relentless. Relentless. Effort, passion, you know, being a father, everything is relentless, and he goes 100% at everything.
That's awesome, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And the interview concluded with the 2 men, the 69-year-old grizzled veteran coach of Central and the about to turn 43-year-old coach of the Huskies, embracing each other and telling each other they love each other. We're not making this up. You can't make this stuff up.
And that's what coaching is all about. I mean, that's why you coach, to impact young people and to see their relationship. To me, it moved me. I don't know about you sitting there watching it, but it really, you could see the genuine concern and love they had for each other.
2 more points for Daniel Hamilton. He's a point away from a triple-double. And
he's going to get out in transition, Coach. There's no doubt about it.
Facey will be called for a hold in the post. Yeah, Kevin Ollie told me, you know, throughout my 13 years in the NBA, how he always stayed in touch with me, was always encouraging. It seemed like I was always packing my bags to go to someplace else. I felt like, well, these guys don't want you anymore. And Howie would always say, it's the other way around. The team that just signed you, they do want you. And he was always encouraging. He said, I will never, ever forget that. I love the man.
He said he's never missed calling him on his birthday.
Right.
How about that?
And his birthday will be this Sunday. And Howie said, you bet I'll call him. And he said, but it'll be during a timeout in the NFL game I'm watching.
They're going to go some type of high ball screen and flat, try to get Hamilton this triple-double right here.
Hamilton with the drive and can't get it to go. It's kicked in by Facey. 9 points for the junior from Jamaica. This is Seymour. He started at the point. Really haven't seen him that way. Look out! Here it is! It's too bad the basket which gave him the triple-double couldn't have been a little more exciting, huh? The 10th player to get a triple-double in UConn history. The 11th time it happened. Shabazz Napier did it twice.
And on the defensive end, just playing the passing lane, pushing it out, and finishing. And I think the great part of that is you talk about a team and having everyone feeling like they're invested. If you had a shot at the bench on that steal and that play, you saw the whole bench raise up and really kind of get behind Daniel Hamilton. And when you try to build a team, you want to have trust. You want everyone have ownership. Connecticut, they have ownership. That's a reflection of Kevin Ollie.
Well, Seth, every coach looks for balance, right? How about this for Alon? 11 points, 11 rebounds, and by golly, 11 assists.
You going to play the lottery or what?
I like my chances if Hamilton's on my team. Very talented sophomore from Los Angeles, preseason All-American Athletic Conference team. At the line will be Stephen Enoch. So what do you think of this effort by UConn coming off a really shaky defensive performance against UMass Lowell last Sunday?
I think once Central made that run in the first half, coming out of that timeout, Kevin Ollie got his team's attention. They responded. I like that smaller lineup for them when Hamilton is at 4. But if you're Kevin Ollie, there are certain games that are tough to play. The game before the start of finals, the game when everyone is leaving campus for the holiday break, and the game before Christmas. And I think that their approach has been terrific, playing this game in this environment, 12:30 in the afternoon, 2 days before Christmas. I really think their approach, as a coach, you'd feel good about your team's maturity, the way they approach this game.
And a big reason the game was scheduled for this hour on a Wednesday is to give the players a chance to fly home for Christmas. If it were a night game, there would be no opportunity to get home tonight. They'll all be able to catch flights and scatter to their various loved ones to spend the holidays and then get back on campus to get ready for the Longhorns.
Because that's your last time home. You think about this. Connecticut is going to probably play in the NCAA tournament. All right. You didn't get a chance to go home for Thanksgiving. You haven't been home probably since the start of the school year. You're not getting back until the end of April. So this is the players' last opportunity to get back with their loved ones before they really dig into league play.
And the same thing for the Central Blue Devils, as they will scatter to spend the holidays together and get back together for a home game against Yale 1 week from tonight.
Yale's having a good team. Right now, Yale might be my favorite to win the Ivy League.
On the drive, it's blocked by Calhoun. And Purvis buries the deep 3.
Much improved jump shooter. When Rodney Purvis gets his feet set, doesn't play faster than the game, he's a shot maker and he can make plays. Sometimes he gets a little bit too quick.
Coming off the season-high 28 on Sunday against UMass Lowell. Heel with the turnaround and the rebound pulled down by Jalen Adams. Adams, Facey rolled for the hoop. And he was fouled by Nails. The NBA on Christmas Day tradition will continue on ABC and ESPN with a quintuple header, it says here, carrying you through the entire day. It all starts at noon Eastern on ESPN, and all the games are streaming live on the ESPN app. Look at it. Pelicans Heat, Bulls Thunder, Cavaliers Warriors, a rematch of the 2015 finals. Has anyone noticed that the Spurs are 24-5?
The Spurs are pretty good. They never beat themselves, and they're all on the same page. But the Cavs and the Warriors, Kyrie Irving back, game in Oakland. It's going to be an interesting basketball game. Question is, if you're Steph Curry, you trying to make a statement in that game that, wait a second, Kyrie, you're back, but right now the NBA is mine. What do you think?
I think indeed he will. I think Steph is always looking for ways to motivate himself, and it will be the final Christmas Day appearance for one Kobe Bryant. His Lakers will host the Clippers in the last of our 5 games that day.
Had 31 the other day, Kobe Bryant. He gets that day off, gets his legs back a little bit. Every team has a leading scorer. Right?
And we'll get an offensive foul called on setting a screen on the Huskies. So check out these names. Danielle Marshall.
He's pretty good.
Duran Shepard. Karan Butler. Emeka Okafor. Ben Gordon. Marcus Williams. Hashim Thabit. Kemba Walker. Shabazz Napier. And now Daniel Hamilton. Those are the 10 players in UConn history who have recorded triple doubles. Hamilton becoming the 10th to do it today.
My mom always said you're judged by the company you keep. It's pretty good company.
No wonder they won 4 national championships, huh? Not only 4, but 4 since 1999. Laney will draw the foul. We'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. But first, we will step aside. The Huskies well on their way to win number 8. The temperature's about 58 degrees in Connecticut today. Hey, Seth, Dino is in Charlotte today, right? I mean,
I thought he was in Hawaii.
I thought the organizers of the Diamond Head Classic always called Dino once a year and said, okay, when can you make it? When do you want us to schedule the tournament this year?
Dino Gaudio is one of the greatest guys in our business. He is a terrific coach. He did an unbelievable job as the head coach at Wake Forest, and he is a lot of fun to hang out with and great in the studio. And basketball misses Dino Gaudio in a lot of ways because he did such a great job every step of the way. And he was Skip Prosser's right-hand guy for so many years with Jeff Battle. By the way, Jeff Battle, the assistant coach of Providence, doing a great job there.
And, of course, Xavier and Wake Forest played in Skip Prosser's name last night. A terrific basketball game as well. The two coaches, 2 of the stops along Skip Prosser's coaching way. Well, we're glad that Dino's on our team, right?
No doubt about it. He is a great
on our team, too.
I appreciate that. We're members of the Fired ACC Coaches Club.
Well, it is a distinguished group.
It's a distinguished group.
And a lengthy one. A hold will be called on Purvis with 3:30 remaining.
You know, the American Conference is going to be better this year. It really is. I think it's getting deeper. Houston, Kelvin Sampson has done a really good job flipping this program around. You know, Larry Brown, one of 5 undefeated teams. And Larry Brown, we were talking about before the game, he's like a Michelangelo of coaching. He's such a good teacher of the game.
And some news and notes. Larry Brown coaching SMU for the first time last night after serving the 9-game suspension. The Mustangs are still undefeated. They're picked number 1 in the American preseason poll. And we mentioned that Kevin Ollie, in his 13 years in the NBA, played for 15 different coaches. Well, one of them was Hall of Famer Larry Brown, who, of course, coached an NCAA championship team and an NBA championship team. Only one to do it, right?
Yes, and it's a shame. He went 33 days without being able to speak to his players or his coaching staff. And I'm not sure, you know, everyone talks about, well, he made a mistake. Well, forget about the mistake. Do you think it's in the best interest of those young kids not to have a guy of Larry Brown's experience in their lives for 33 days? I'm not sure.
Nels with the steal, can't get the dunk to go, but then picks up the loose change. And Jim Boeheim going through the same thing right now with Syracuse. He's not allowed any contact with his team while he serves his suspension. UConn with the walk-ons on the floor. We have 24 Christian Foxen, 31 Mike Noyes on the floor. And there is Nambi Amilo with his first 2 points of the season.
You got to love this time of the game for the UConn guys. Real difficult for Central Connecticut, but these kids here, league play starting, the chances of them getting in a game the rest of the season, not only getting in a game, but having a chance to score. It's great always watching the benches watch the walk-ons get an opportunity to play. They enjoy that, and that's what being a good teammate's all about. That's how you build a championship culture.
The biggest fear when you put the walk-ons in is that your starters might get hurt celebrating on the bench when one of the walk-ons does something. Got to watch out you don't tear an ACL when you celebrate. Counted in the foul by Laney.
And Harry Dickerman still coaching his team. And that's, you know, when I say a lifer, I have so much appreciation for Coach Dickerman. I had a chance this week to watch a practice for their whole practice, 3 hours, teaching, communicating, passionate, caring about his players, has terrific staff. They were all engaged in trying to help this program. And the guy was 4-time NEC Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and he took him to the NCAA tournament 3 times. He was a great player at Central Connecticut. Has over 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. He's in the Central Connecticut Athletic Hall of Fame. He was born in Norwich, Connecticut. Was an assistant coach under another Norwich native, Nick McCarchick, at Canisius, earlier in his career before joining the staff at UConn, first under Don Perno and then under Jim Calhoun. And he's now in his 20th year. And who knows? His contract is up after this year. When asked about it, Howie says that will be addressed at the end of the season, the question about whether or not he'll be back for a 21st season.
If his health is good, they've got good young players for that conference. And if they could put one more recruiting class on top of that, they will be at the highest level at the top of that conference in another year. And yeah, he's got great energy and great passion. A guy like Howie Dickman, he should make his decision. I'm surprised the court isn't named after him. I really am.
Well, the problem is the court is named after Bill Dietrich, who is the winningest coach and in his own right is a legend at Central Connecticut.
It's the court of the building.
It's Dietrich Gym, Kaiser Hall. Right.
Well, Dietrich Gym, but what about the court?
So you want to go
Dietrich Gym and
Building Gym Court, 3 different names.
Yeah, why not? Come on. Let's celebrate the history.
And how about that? Another one of the walk-ons. Mike Noyes
is making some.
Those were his 3rd and 4th points of the season. The junior from Granby, Connecticut.
We got to find the third guy right here. We got to get him a shot.
Got to get. There you go.
Here we go.
Foxen, look out.
Oh, no.
All 12 Huskies who have played have scored. So that's kind of putting the star at the top of the Christmas tree, that Foxen dunk. The 6'8" sophomore from Rocky Hill, Connecticut, his first career points.
Nels again with a step back right there. That's a freshman. Topic, a freshman. Phoenix, a freshman. Those are 3 solid freshmen to build around in the future for Central Connecticut.
As you said, there are no UConns in the NEC, so things will calm down a little bit. This is the 3rd Power 5 conference team UConn has played this year. Central has played. They also played as Foxen gets 2 more.
You got to play guarantee games. I mean, these games help support the budget at Central Connecticut. Their season really doesn't start for real until league play starts. These are all, in a lot of ways, exhibitions. They get in the league play. That's how they're going to earn a chance to play in postseason play. These are all fact-finding missions.
Nels with the miss, and the rebound is yanked down, and Kevin Ollie is saying, I don't care about scoring 100. He puts up the, you want to play, you better not take a shot here in the last 4 seconds. So UConn will settle for a 99-52 win. UConn shooting 60% from the floor for the 3rd consecutive year. Seth, thank you very much. Happy holidays to you and your family.
Thank you so much.
Once again, our final score, UConn 99 and Central 52. Now let's send it back to our college basketball studio with Anish Shroff and Dino Gaudio. Fellas, happy holidays.
And a happy holidays to you, Bob. Elijah Brown at 33 points in the loss to Auburn yesterday in the Diamond Head Classic. 5 straight 20-point games. New Mexico and BYU coming up from Honolulu in less than 10 minutes here on ESPNU. And Anish Shroff alongside Dino Gaudio. You just saw UConn take care of business against 1-win Central Connecticut. No surprise there, even without Amita Brima, but the way that UConn had to alter its game a little bit without Brima, how were they able to do that?
Well, they were able to do it, Anish, because they went small ball, and you can do that against Central Connecticut. Now, Nolan Enoch and Facey on the interior did have 18 points, 15 rebounds, which they're going to need to continue to do. Not one guy is going to replace him on the inside, so it's got to be done by committee. And we're going to really see how good these guys are, because their next game's at Texas with a big front line, as we know. Ridley, Ebay, Connor Lambert, those big guys for Connecticut will be tested in their next outing.
And that will be UConn's first true road game of the season. Sean Miller, terrific game for Connecticut. He couldn't miss.
He's a really good player, Anish, because what he does well is here on spacing, he could step out and shoot to 3. He also has an inside game where he could score the ball on the interior as well. I mean, great lift for him. He has good hops, a great skill set. I did their game when he was at Cornell 2 seasons ago, and you knew this kid was going to be a great player. But, man, he is really stepping up, especially with the absence of Brima on the interior.
He had 25 points on 10 of 12, and Daniel Hamilton a triple-double, 11s across the board, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists.
Well, he had the rebounds and the assists early. You and I were talking at halftime. Is he going to get it? I go, when he knows he needs like 6 more points, you better believe he's going to get it. And what a great performance from him today. He came out and just initiated, really was passing the ball well.
UConn 7-0 at home now, 1-3 in neutral site games. They have yet to play a true road game. And as we alluded to, Amita Brima, who was the conference defensive player of the year in the American last year, out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken finger. All right, so UConn gets the win. When you take a look at their season now, this was against Central Connecticut. You had a pretty good idea they were going to take care of business, but how do they absorb the loss for maybe 2 months of Brima once they get into conference play?
We talked a little bit about their next game, but in conference play, Octavius Ellis from Cincinnati, Marcus Kennedy from SMU, that's when they're really going to be challenged without him, because they're not going to have him on those initial games when they play Cincinnati, when they play SMU. So they have to do it collectively. We saw Sean Miller step up today, and he rebounded the ball. He's an undersized guy that has to play some 5. Coming into this game, he played about 16%, 18% of his minutes, Anish, at the 5. But he's not that shot blocker. That's really where they're going to miss Brima. See, guards, they can pressure the ball. If they know if they get beat, that guy back there is going to block a shot. They couldn't do that today.
Yeah. And again, you can get away with it against the Blue Devils of Central Connecticut. In the American, not as easy. All right, in case you missed some of the pre-Festivus